Getting everything set up.
Oh, the dog has got.
Give us a second. Just going to be posting this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, everyone in between, welcome. We are going to be doing a PC or PC upgrade slash rebuild here on Hilton's Computer Repair. So this is a very modest one. It's a budget PC. It's an office one, but this will give everyone watching a good notification or a good estimation of what we are doing here, because we are actually going to be starting to get into actual custom PC builds, and this is what we're going to be doing with each of them. So starting things off, let's see, that'll focus. Yeah, so Ryzen 3400G, not the best, not the worst power or CPU on the market, obviously, but again, this is an office build, so it's way more power than what is needed for the build. If you have any questions at any point, do feel free to ask. And note that, like I just mentioned, we are going to be doing these more often, especially now that we are going to be starting to take custom PC build commissions. Nice and hand tightened. So we got some nice team group dark 16 gig sticks. And what these are just basic RGB sticks. Like they're dummy RAM. Like they don't have any power to them, but they're gonna be good for adding a little bit extra pizzazz, which you're gonna notice on this build. There's a lot of this stuff. But Corsair, if you ever come across this, we would love to be sponsored by you. So now for the most divisive thing I'm going to be doing on the entirety of the stream. It's the thermal paste application. We put in our cooler. Everybody has their own, like whether that's too much or too little, and everyone else thinks that everyone else's opinion is wrong. So we're just gonna keep going, especially because see, I have this little cloth right here. Where does that's it. Take that out like that. Cooler we're using, basic Hyper 212. We got the logo taken out of it because minimalist. And like I mentioned, we have a bunch of Corsair fans and stuff, so it's actually even better to not have that as a conflict. I'm not tying anything right now. Trying to make sure that these all go on. Now that all of them are on, now we're going to start tying. And another thing about this is don't overdo it. Just make sure it's just right. You see, we get very, very good, very clean, very. You can actually see on the side. See right there, the thermal paste is actually perfectly on. It's not overdoing it. Now, another one of those those flare modules I just mentioned. These are going to come in handy later So we get them done now so you can see what it looks like beforehand. You can see we got these nice little custom thermal, or these custom cable extensions. Well, they're not custom, they're just cable extensions, but we do offer or putting those on our builds as a way to make it where it looks a lot more even, and or for all the builds we do. The fans we are using, these beautiful guys right here, these are the LL120s from Corsair. As I drop the stand like an idiot, but we will press on. All right, so we are going to be finally, we do have a graphics card in this PC, although it's not anything to write home about. It is a Asus GT210 or GT1 or 1030. So it's going to look like that when it's installed. However, we are not going to install it right now. It is time to start with the case itself. Let's get this out of the way. We're going to go up. See it a lot better. Our case is a Thermaltake H20. It's a very good budget-friendly MATX case. We're going to start not with the CPU, but we're going to start with the fan. We got 4 of them to install, so might as well get them done now. Fan right here. Now, notice the top fan is not RGB at all, because since it's not going to be seen, it's not really a necessity to have it. Plus, really, there's going to be the back fan and the 2 front fans are going to have RGB, so best not overcomplicate it. But do apologize for this. This is going to be a relatively boring part of the stream, so if anyone's out there, do ask questions because this is a perfect time to answer them. It's also means seeing how fast I can do this because also I will note for the sake of the video, this PC that we are using this is an upgrade of one that we actually did. We also did a deep clean, which is something we will offer for those who need it. Price very independent on the severity. Forgot to mention the second of the two LL120s that we have. Not the best angle, but we'll go through that. These two are going to be a lot easier to do the front. So these are LL140s. You notice they're bigger. In there we go. The best part about this is that this is also a way for me to see how fast I can build this PC, especially with the Corsair parts that we're putting in it. This is the old school Corsair fans, which means there's two wires, a lot more cable management to do. One thing I will note as well is that it is not necessary to put all the screws in the or in a fan. You can get away with just putting 3, but I'm doing this anyway because it's a lot easier to get everything done the proper way. We're going to put this over. Now you can see all 4 fans. The Corsair LL120, SP120, this basic, and then LL140s. Now, our PC goes back into play. Start by pushing 3 most important cables in to their respective slots. We went on a little trip there. Apologize for that. There we go. We are logged into place. Probably just saw my hat there, but we'll keep going. So we locking it in. You're gonna get a rare treat. This screw right here, what I have my screwdriver over, it's the least filmed unless you're going straight from the top like this. We're done with that. And one last screw. There we are. Now, as I alluded to earlier, here is our Asus 1030. A very, very basic, mundane graphics card. Nothing really to write home about, but for the purposes that it has the connections that we need and everything, it does exactly what it's supposed to on the tin. That's all we care about. And that, it's just so. If we look at this, the way that this is orientated and everything. Here we have, if it'll focus, here we have the PC. But only in the fact that we have everything put in. Now it's time to actually get it where it powers on. So for that, flip this over and do the long, excruciatingly long process of cable management. Because we have a lot of cables. In fact, let's add more, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to add the front panel objects. 3.0 reset switch, power switch, USB, or no, that's HD audio, and this is the USB. And a light for front to show that the PC is on. But now the front panel connector is on. And another thing we need to install right now is our SSD. More importantly, get our hard drive in. Or not hard drive, our power supply, basic 500 watt, 80 plus from EVGA. Now this is a modular one. This is what we had available to us, and I'm going to be saying flat out that if you have your own build with us, it'll be a variation of this or an actual PSU. It's all dependent on what you want. This is actually the harder way to do this because of the fact that it's a modular power supply. But we're going to press on anyway. Now, as you can see, just 2 more screws we gotta do. Very simple, very straightforward. Now, for the, you can see all these cavalcade wires. We're going to, the only ones that we need access to directly are SATA. We need this one that has specifically 3 of them on it. We need one of these guys, these Molex connectors, which we'll go ahead and, where are you? Here. We're going to install this little Molex connector for the LED. Not completely necessary, but just try to save space. I'm going to CPU, extension right there, and cable extension right here. Now this is the main reason that that I personally, speaking as the builder, like these type of cables, because instead of having these as their colloquially known ketchup and mustard like cables on full display in the build. You have these pretty ones right here, which are a lot easier. Like while it might be a little bit more awkward to work them, it's a lot better in the end to actually. Starting to sink. It's a lot better in the end to get those in. We have all these cables. Where do they go into? They go into two. That's a 3-parter. So we got for the LEDs. We have this guy right here. It's the RGB hub. And then for the fans themselves, we got this guy. We'll be placing this right there. This has double-sided tape on them already pre-installed. And you'll notice I post those right there. That's by design. You'll see later. Go ahead and unplug this for now. This is the one I don't really need at the moment. Now, the one thing about this motherboard is that we have 3 USBs, or we have 2 USBs. We have 3 things that need USB. So what we're going to do is we're going to cheat. Now, this little guy, it's a USB, like a 1 to 2 USB extender right here. And because it's only simply just taking in the lighting and everything, it's fine for us to use it as our LED or as our USB connector. So right there and right. Where are you? Right here. So notice that we have this huge space under here. That is, again, by design. We have our, as glamorous as this is not, and I do not recommend this I will not do this under normal circumstances. Because it's an SSD, we're installing starting to push wires again to the front. and start our connection processes for each of them. So for example, our USB 3.0. Or is there HD audio? We're going to put that right there. Now, as you can see, now this is getting a little precarious, but we're gonna make do with what we got. Start plugging stuff in to these right here. So our RGB, there is our fan controller. Actually, let's switch this one to the RGB. And our SSD is going to be right here. Let's start by going in order for the so if you notice that we're going like it's you better move the camera a little bit. If you notice that it's in order, I'm going in from the back to the front for each, or so it's going to be back fan, CPU, these two fans right here. So 1, 2, this will be 3 right here if I can get in, and this will be number 4 right here. Not really as necessary for the fan connections on the outs on the bottom, but we are using specifically though these 4 right here in the center because there's a little gap right there that'll be perfect for this. So he puts this one back through. This is an important one. I'll explain that in a second when we flip it back around. But 3, 2, 1. Now, we are done with all the back wiring, but we're not, because the main thing, as you can see, we have all of this stuff we gotta take care of. So let's go ahead and skip it for now. We got now, because of how meticulous this is, I am going If you've seen any other YouTubers or tech YouTubers, unfortunately, I'm not a certain one with tiny raccoon-like fingers, but I do make it where it counts. So, power switch. And that. USB 1 locked in. More importantly, USB 2 locked in. USB 3.0. You see, we got our cables all nicely done. Crossbar, how's it going, friend? Yes, we are indeed building. Almost got this guy, so we gotta go back up to the front. This one is actually very important. This is the CPU fan. If we didn't have that fan in, we would have problems, and I do not want problems, especially considering that this, since this is a demonstration of why we do this, we don't have problems. Problems are messed up. I don't want problems. It's a zero problem zone. My attempt at a joke. Anyway, we can now begin the most important part. We have a bunch of cables we need to get done. Yeah. There we go. Now for the part, it's going to take the next, let's be real, hour or so. Cable management. We got all that. We got all this we got to take care of. being completely honest with you guys while we're doing this. This is a PC that's in my family. I'm not going to say whose it is, but this was actually this was a gift that I did for them, and I am very proud of it. It's not by no means is it the fanciest or the like in terms of tech. Is it even like the most or is it the most high powered? I mean, it's like I said, it's an office PC. But doing this one was a good exercise in me showing that I can make any PC, no matter how people might think, how quote unquote mundane others might think them of, be as good as a show build on the floor of a convention. Because in reality, the thing that a lot of more high profile tech builders forget is that it shouldn't matter what the specs are. The specs don't equal a good thing, or don't equal the best type of PC. What equals the best type of PC is how much work and care you put into it. I can, as I'm proving here, I'm making a $300 PC. This is how much it costs: $300 for everything. Look like one that is easily several $100s more expensive. Well, the reason I'm doing that is because I care. Because I feel that we, as a culture, are putting more emphasis on the flash. So we need to put less emphasis on the flash and more emphasis, or more emphasis on the power and less emphasis on the flash. And these machines are designed and built, no matter which one they are, to be on your computer desk these days, because airflow is significantly better than what it was back when we were in, or when, especially like when I was in high school. So we gotta make it look better, because if it looks good, you're gonna take care of it. If you have an old car from the 90s, you're just gonna let something. You're gonna let the paint chip. You're gonna let everything. You're gonna take care of it to where it can take you from point A to point B, of course, because that's your main form of transportation. But you're not gonna care about it as much. However, if you put work into it, you're gonna care more. Now, you notice I'm not really locking anything down. I'm not really doing anything too extravagant with the cable management. In fact, that's what it looks like on the top. But for me, that's good enough, because it's better than just leaving it by its wayside. And we have about 2 about centimeter and a half of space for me to do with whatever I want for this. Now you notice I'm not locking them in that hard, because I'm future-proofing it for myself whenever I upgrade this or whenever we do anything with it. I don't want the next time I go into this PC, whenever it is, whether it's a year from now or 4 years from now or 3 years from now, whatever it is, to be too annoying. saving me from myself, basically. But you're gonna still put as much zip ties as possible to make sure that everything looks good. Now you see all the ones sticking up. That means we're doing it right. Now we're at the point where I can just come in with the cable cutters. The most satisfying thing that you can do as a PC builder is get all these cut to exactly the way that you want them. And this is why. See, it's all contained. Now, is this the best cable management? Not really. Am I willing to put, for the benefits of this live stream, the about 2 or 3 hours it would take for me to get it to where it looks like it should go in a museum? Again, not really. Cable management especially is one of those things where you can spend 20 minutes on, you can spend 20 seconds on. All that matters is if it looks good to you. And because 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see it. And we're going to plug this back in. That's all plugged in. That's all well and good. So we are going to just put in this right here. Now, no, we only put in one. We only put one zip tie right there, and we're putting one right here. You don't it's for the CPU. I'm just putting one on the cable extension and on the cable itself. Then we're right there, so you can see what I'm doing right here. We have 2 slots, one right here, one right here. We're gonna use both of them. It's another reason I didn't completely cinch it down, because I knew I was going to be doing this anyway. These cables are basically acting like our locks. So we got those done. That, and cut that. All right, so now these, because of the way that they are, let's bring it down a little bit. There you are. Now, while I'm doing this, I will also remind everybody once again that Helton's Computer Repair / ESPI Fix in Alice, Texas. We are doing custom PC builds, so if you like your next computer to, or your next gaming PC to potentially also be streamed like this one is, do give us a message on our Facebook page or on our Twitter account, or just give us a call. Our links are in the bio. Now, you notice that everything right there is just pushed to the corner. Again, modular cables, do what you can. But all that's said and done, we're going to do first boot just to make sure it's on. Now, make sure it's on. Got our power cable right here, and look at that. Look at that. That is very pretty. It's a very pretty PC. Again, it's an office build. Like, the parts in this are very, very light, or very, very lightweight. But here we are. We are done. You can see everything is nice and pretty now. And and best part is, you can see we got this done in under an hour. So not the worst by no means. Definitely not the most powerful PC we've ever built, nor will we build on this channel. I will say that deserves, you guys see the final part of this, which is getting this tempered glass. Put it right here on the top. One second. This part fell off. That's what I'm not gonna put the case on until that is found. We'll settle for. Can't get the front on. Or the back. This is why I say cable management is only as good as what you decide to have it on, because regardless of how good you make it, it's just gonna get covered up again anyway. So it's quite literally the best thing you'll never see in terms of a builder, but we don't really like doing anything half or by halves over here, because why not? So let's just bring this back up. Put this right up like it's supposed to be. Very proud of this PC to this day. Like I said, it was a gift. I made sure that it was just right for the needs of the person that I built it for, or people. Not gonna say outright because I don't want you guys to know who this is. But the main thing is that we were trying to get across for this video, or for this live stream, is that we do custom PC builds. We will be live streaming them as many times as we can, and we will be doing a relatively reasonable price for each of them. It's all a matter of who is what the budget is. What we can work with any budget, work with any specifications you need. The main thing that we are going to emphasize is that it's going to take a little bit of time. Is if we give you a price, that is the price. Unfortunately, we can, in terms of building fees, it's going to be something we can really afford to negotiate for, because these do take a lot of time, a lot of effort. And that's something to keep in mind for those who are interested. But if you are interested, like I said, links in the video description of this video for our information. I found this guy, so we can actually go ahead and put these 4 screws back on. And that will do it for this right now. Thank you very much if you tuned in. For those who are watching on the VOD, once again, if you're interested in a custom build, let us know. We will work with any budget and give you a good competitive price for the build and ship anywhere in the country. Thank you and have a nice day.